All right, guys, we are back, and I'm excited to have these two wonderful guests on. If you saw my first episode, you saw the sort of the spectrum that I wanted. We have the Playmate and the Fighter Pilot, and I plan on having several episodes like that. So today, I brought on two very talented, very beautiful young ladies. They happen to be friends with each other, but they have very different career paths, and that's why I wanted to bring them on to show more of the contrast and a lot of, I want the show to be about intellectual curiosity and a common human experience. So today, I have two incredible, incredible ladies from Indiana coming all the way out here. It is, she is a social media marketing manager. This is Char Modell. I have known her in several different capacities. She's also a fantastic model that's worked here in Las Vegas for a while. How you doing today, Char?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Terrific.
Going on like 11 years now.
11 years. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And coming to a gun near you, she is a professional shooter. I heard a rumor that she can shoot a gnat off a donkey's ass at 50 meters with a Glock 17. That's right. This is Miss Jamie Villamore.
How are you?
Wonderful.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
It's not?
No.
At 50 meters?
We're gonna
25
go with
meters?
it. I mean, I can hit a steel target at 60 meters.
At 60 meters?
But I'm not shooting a Glock.
No? What are you shooting?
No, I'm shooting a 1911.
A 1911, a Colt 1911?
I'm shooting a Rock Island 1911.
Oh, that's right.
But I just started messing around a little bit with an Atlas because I've been shooting single stack for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So it was cool to make the transition going from 9 rounds to 20.
Wow. In one pistol?
Yeah.
So this is something that's way off topic, and I didn't plan on asking. I didn't plan on asking this, but all the guns that you shoot, they can be made by different manufacturers. Like Rock Island can make AK-47s, right? There's no patent for each of these individual weapons.
No, yeah. So the weapons can be made by several different vendors.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that because you always think the AK-47s are all made by Kalashnikov, but I guess we don't have to even worry about that.
Like Tactical Edge actually makes a really good AK-47, and then Brown Bear just started making. They're actually based out of California, believe it or not. So they're making California compliant AK-47s.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're not full auto.
They're not full.
That's what it means. Anyway, like I said, intellectual curiosity. I just got off track. So the reason why I had these two ladies on is because they had very different career paths, but I've known them both for a long time. The one thing we all had in common is the company I was with, we hired atmosphere models, and both of you guys were atmosphere models, and the majority of the country has no fucking idea what an atmosphere model is. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But the reason why I wanted Char, you don't know this yet.
Oh.
Don't you love surprises?
Yes.
I'm all
He's
about a
so
surprise.
good for them.
Yes. So Char,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that over the last couple years, there have been several people offering courses on becoming a social media manager.
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And the main example they give is become a social media manager for a plastic surgeon. Okay. I know literally hundreds and maybe I don't know thousands, but I know of thousands of guys that have taken these courses.
Sure.
And maybe 2 of them who have actually accomplished a social media marketing agency. And you did, and you don't know who Ty Lopez is, do you?
I actually do know
You do know who Ty Lopez is.
I do. I don't listen to him very often, but I do know who he is.
Okay, so the fact that I'm not kidding you. There are probably 300 dudes watching the show right now. Like, how the fuck did she pull this off?
Right.
Because so many people, they're like, oh, I know how to use all these techniques on social media. It's the sales part that they miss. So you are an actual legit. You have multiple clients.
Yeah.
An actual social media marketing manager. I saw it with my own eyes. You've given me advice on my social media that has been effective. Can you come a little bit closer to the microphone? Can you go a little bit into how you got this gig and you basically trumped, like hundreds of dudes I know that weren't able to pull this off?
My position for how I view social media is very differently than a lot of the other people in the industry. I think their approach is, how do we grow a following and entice the following to want to follow us? And I start out very differently. I look at the root of what the person's doing. I go, what makes you inspired to create content? What is your message? What are you selling? What is it? You sell it to me. Why would I listen to you? Why would I buy what you're selling? And then you tell me, you know what? A lot of times people they stop there. Oh, well, I have this product, but I really don't know what my message is. I don't know my branding for social media. I'm not really sure, and it's hit and miss. And I have like a designer creative view of it. When I go on a page, immediately I'm like, okay, in 3 seconds flat, can I figure out who you are, what you do, and what you're selling? And a lot of times I can't. So what people do are they hire these social media managers who are so consistently obsessed with the growing numbers, and they just crank out content. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no business or branding strategy. There's no story behind it. There's no inspiration behind or driving the content. I honestly become like people's personal life coach and getting them geared up for the content. And so one of my most recent successes, which is like my biggest one, and I say that humbly because it took an entire team to get her here. We all create content for her. But I said, she's an investor and she does multiple things and she's very successful. But I met her and I go, you're the next Gary Vaynerchuk of your industry. Like, we need to get you out there. This was a month and a half ago and her socials kind of sucked. And I didn't know that she was going to hire me. But and a week later after me meeting her, she goes, can I bring you on? So it took a month and a half. She was negative. People were unfollowing her. And keep in mind, we didn't buy bots. We didn't pay for ads. She already has influence in her field, so people kind of know her name in general. But we grew her to 900 plus a week of organic followers in this last 2 weeks. Now, there was something tactical stuff going on Instagram. We grew her TikTok. Now, I'm not over TikTok, but her person that grew TikTok grew at 50,000 in less than a month. So the thing is like, when I come onto a team, it takes a team, not just one person. It takes a team, I believe, even if it's just 1, 2, or 3, with different eyes to help create the content. And whenever they bring me on, I get to know the team. I figure out where they're headed. And there's individuals too, and I'm not saying you can't get there without a team. I'm just saying it takes a team a lot of times to create that much content and to get it right. And again, my approach is from the ground up. Everybody's ahead of it. They want to go with the following. And I'm like, why do you need a following? And they often can't even answer me that. And I'm like, okay, first, forget the numbers. Let's get some good content out and figure out what you're all about.
So I'm seeing the difference. So I see what you're saying. So when I was watching social media, because I've seen some of the courses that they have.
Yeah.
And it is so much to do with the technical aspect of algorithms and that type of thing.
Hashtags.
Yeah, exactly.
It's.
But you are more like the Gary, what's his name? Gary Keller of this industry. I don't know if you ever read The One Thing by Gary Keller.
I know. I've heard his name, but I've not read the book.
So he's from Keller Williams Realty. Mm-hmm. He leaves, he writes a book, and the book basically states that multitasking is a myth. Mm-hmm. You want to become a millionaire, you need to become elite at 1 or 2 things.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's what the book's about. And it seems like with you, and I've had this issue before because I have clients. I don't do social media marketing, but I do more like for a lifestyle. Yeah. What is the lifestyle you're trying to express to me? Because these guys have the weirdest things on their IG that I don't really understand why it's there. It's like a picture of a lake, and then it's a picture of their buddies drinking at a bar, and I'm like, yeah, women are just going to follow themselves for you. Like, what is this? Mm-hmm. I don't understand the point of this. So so you codify, you narrow down what their niche is, and then you make them go after that. You make them ask them really difficult questions about themselves where they don't. You mentioned to me something about me having a triad. Is that what you were talking about?
I was talking about that. Like, we kind of figure out like the 3 things that make you stand out. So, and you guys are really big on social media too.
Yeah.
But if I were to hit your page and I couldn't pick out, because people are multi-passionate.
Yes.
So they want to figure out a way to funnel that through their channels. Well, I want to do the red carpet events, but I might want to be a podcaster and dabble in that. I'm not sure, but I want to do. And if I hit your page and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a phenomenal podcaster and you know all these things about like science and everything going on out there, and I don't see it on your channel, you're missing a huge opportunity of collaboration, because people who hit your page want to collaborate with people like you. But if all they see are like hot chicks and you on the red carpet, they don't know that you have a brilliant mind behind that. So just even like,
I agree.
Yes, I've been pushing him for a long time.
Yes, get rid of all the ladies. Thank you. Yes, and my mother's very happy.
I'm not saying get rid of the ladies.
About this.
Not that, but like
I like looking at the ladies.
Yeah, we all like. Hey, we're some of the ladies on your page.
Okay, Jamie. So that was her niche. You found a niche too.
Wait. I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
For her. So, because you've known me for a while, so when you go to my page, what do you see? Honestly.
Honestly, I know that you do the whole gun industry and that you're like a really good travel model. You do traveling. But what's interesting to me is like, I think you're actually a really good, incredible family person too. Things that matter to you don't necessarily always come through your channels, but like you run deeper than your channels sometimes show. And like for your podcast, I'm excited for you because I think that's going to give you another edge. It's like, what is Jamie all about? We know she's hot. She's into fitness. She travels. She can literally shoot anybody out. But I'm excited to hear you speak more. And on the dating realm is really interesting and fun. It's fun for me to hear that. So I'm very excited for you. But like, I would like to see you remember we used to share some of my quotes and stuff too.
I love your
Jamie
inspiration.
runs so deep. I love it.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of Jamie running deeper, like a passion project outside of what is your norm.
I should probably share more of my philanthropies.
Yes,
but honestly, like I feel like it takes away then from the actual giving, because I don't give to like showboat. So it's kind of something personal like within me. So I don't need to share that with everyone. So sometimes when I see that, I think it comes off maybe a little off-putting.
I've heard both sides of this, and I agree with what you're saying. I know a lot of people who are philanthropists and they give just to give. Because of the charities that I'm involved with, we are very unapologetic. We want attractive women there, and we want to get men to spend money on these charities. And when these kids get toys for Christmas, I don't give a fuck where they got them from. I honestly do not care.
Yeah.
I do not care if it was a porn star who came to my charity and raised $100 grand. If the kids get the toys and the animals get the food, right?
Yeah.
And the disabled veterans get the help that they need, and the women's shelter, the domestic abuse shelter gets the money for the funding they need, I don't care. And again, there's nothing, I'm not criticizing what you're saying, but this has always been something that I've had to deal with, especially with like Babes in Toyland. We do not judge at all. If you are giving us money for charity, we don't care if it's a write-off. We don't care if you're doing it to impress your friends. As long as the people who need the money get the money, that is all I care about. But some people are different. I know some very...
So I agree with you in that aspect, but for me, I'm actually like showing up and going to prom with like a special needs kid.
Yeah.
So I think it would be inappropriate for me to be filming and posting that on my Instagram that I'm like at prom with, someone that's, has this need.
Sure.
Or when I'm like working with the elderly, like I'm not going to roll into Del Mar Gardens with my... Hey, look where I'm at today.
But I would,
childhood cancer, same thing. I'm not going to put those kids on my social.
You shouldn't, but you should if it's going to help raise more money. And
I agree.
Right. So that's the only reason. So for me, if I'm going to go do a fun run, down, like I remember Chloe Teray.
We have to like.
Chloe Teray did a fun run, a 10K run in Orange County for autism. Okay. The fact that I'm going to go do that run with a bunch of playmates, that's going to get more people to show up. I don't care. If you think we're exploiting women, I honestly do not even have the time to have a debate with you. We are raising money for autism. I don't care.
Did you see what Nicole Arbor did for, she I don't know if we can pull it up, but she did, it was for child trafficking.
Okay.
So she starts it out with like, drinking this and it's like dripping down her and it comes out of her mouth, and so everyone's like, holy shit. And then she's like, now that I got your attention, and then it goes into sex trafficking. So she caught a lot of fucking heat for that.
Wow.
But she was like, I don't give a fuck. It got millions of freaking views. So guess what?
I think both of us are right. If I go to a food pantry up in North Vegas, I don't need attention for that. But if I'm literally trying to get a bunch of celebrities to show up to like the Met Gala, I know they raise money for charity.
Yeah, they do.
You're going to need celebrities to do it. There's what I'm saying is there's some people out there that it's shameful to let people know you're involved with charity. No, if it's a situation where you are an influential person in your career field or your friend group and you go to a charity which causes other people to donate, I have no shame when it comes to giving toys to children. None. I will sit. You can dress me up like Rudolph and spank me. I don't give a fuck. You do whatever you want as long as the kids get the toys, as long as the animal rescue shelter gets the money. I do not have any shame when it comes to this. So again, all I'm saying is if you want to keep it private, there's nothing wrong with that. But in some cases, all I care about is the money going to the charity. That's something that I've had to deal with this for a while because people are like, I remember one time we had Lindsay Palis. She came to one of our events and we were giving away 2 tickets to Disney World. And I say this guy had raised his hand. The tickets were $200 each, $300 each, and I was like, do I have 500? Do I have 600? And I looked at this guy and I said, hey, if we could get your favorite influencer to go with you to Disney World, would you go? And I go, who's your favorite influencer? He goes, Lindsay Palis. And Lindsay he didn't know this. Lindsay was like maybe 20 feet to his right with her boyfriend. I go, Lindsay. She goes, what? I go, will you go to Disney World with this dude if he wins the bid? She goes, fuck yeah. She yells it out really loud. She goes, fuck yeah. And then
look, I have chills. I would totally do that.
1,200, 1,300, 1,400. Her boyfriend outbid everyone, and he took her to Disney, to Disneyland.
That's awesome.
Or Disney? Is it Disneyland there? It's Disneyland.
It's Disneyland or Disney World.
He took her there, and I interviewed her afterwards, and she goes, he better buy me the tickets to Disneyland. I don't again, guys. Seriously. the fact that Lindsay Palis is gorgeous. She has a superpower. She can get millions of people to look at a thing, whatever that thing is. It's like Cyclops with his freaking laser eyes. She has a superpower. She used her superpower to raise money for kids. She shouldn't be ashamed of it. Nobody should be ashamed of that. But I also know, like I remember Bilzerian bought like several truckloads of toys for kids one time. Didn't let anybody know about it, and it's totally fine. Like somebody else discovered it.
See, that's more my style.
But either style is fine.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need additional people to help him with the money. So in either way is fine. My point is, I meet too many people who are like, oh, I don't want to do this for the attention. I'm not doing Babes in Toyland for attention. You'll notice I don't even introduce myself when I go to those events. I do it because we are unapologetically getting rich men to spend money for charities in Los Angeles, and no matter what, I will do it. I want to get to this. You have a niche, what we talked about before with social media marketing. Your niche is completely different. It is. I know a bunch of women who would love to get in your niche. You're a fantastic model, and you get to shoot all the guns you want.
I do.
I bet you don't even have to pay for ammo.
I do. I actually have an ammo sponsor.
I'm not surprised. In fact, she gave me a gift bag for her doing her podcast, and I have 24 rounds of 9mm Parabellum in my kitchen right now because of her.
I love you, Arms Corps. Huh? I said I love you, Arms Corps.
Yeah. So how did you find that niche?
Gosh. So I was top 10 in the world for swimsuit lingerie modeling, got cast for a show where they took 100 girls that had never like shot a firearm before. And then they like put us through a course. So I ended up making the top 10. And then from there, they were taking the top 4 for a show. I was freaking awful. So, and I'll leave out the names, but they basically were like, you freaking suck. And I'm thinking, I can't be that bad. Like I made the top 10, like, so I would leave there, like literally like feeling like shit every day. So I sought out like some of the best shooters in the industry. And then that's where I met JJ Rakaza. And he was like, I said, look, can you get me accurate? And he was like, yeah, I can get you accurate. So, spent a little time with him and then ended up making the top 4 of the show. After training with him, I decided not to do the show, and I'm like, I really like this industry, and I had no idea that it was actually like a competitive sport. Like it's an Olympic sport.
It
like
is.
There's people, and they're incredible athletes that I feel like they definitely don't get. The sport does not get the attention it deserves because these people are training literally like nonstop.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to train with some of the best freaking shooters in the world.
Yeah.
So it's mind blowing to me.
Yes.
So for me it's something that I kind of fell into. Like
Yes.
I didn't plan for it to happen, but I
just
got
fit.
the opportunity and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck the show. Like I want to learn.
So this is interesting. I love shooting guns. I know a lot about, that's how we first met. I know way more about guns than I shoot them. And because of the physics. I don't want to kill anyone.
Right.
I don't care about the destructive power of the bullet, but I do think it's amazing that you can hit a target at 1,600 meters with a 50 caliber Barrett. That's unbelievable.
You know who you should talk to then, Michael, is you need to bring in BJ Baldwin.
Okay.
Because
I know who BJ is.
Yeah. So I actually just I was with Jason the other day, and BJ comes in. He's with Tori. So his girlfriend Tori used to shoot on Team Glock. Okay. 58 freaking titles, a total freaking beast.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to shoot with her in the Philippines. She fucking dominated. So
doesn't that sound intimidating? Team Glock.
Yeah,
what are you? I'm on team.
So, yeah,
that's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna name my basketball team in intramurals. We're Team Glock.
So she shoots, for Team Glock with Shane Cooley, and not anymore, but she did when I shot with her. So anyway, she walks in with BJ Baldwin, and his story. He got into the shooting in and out.
I didn't know this. No.
Yeah. So BJ, not to exploit his business, but with someone tried to literally murder him and Tori, and he had his concealed carry, and so because of that, he literally researched the ballistics of every piece of ammunition. Right. So down to the point where he sat down at my table and he's like, "What's in your concealed carry?" I'm like, "I have G9s." I pulled it out. He looked at it, starts reading off specs, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So
I should definitely have him.
Yeah.
Because the rifling of the barrel like is something that I think a lot of people don't understand about. Like again, for someone who shoots all the time, this makes perfect sense. For someone who doesn't shoot, the idea of creating centrifugal.
Are you like, what the hell are you guys talking
Right.
about?
I have no idea.
You ever seen a football when you throw it? It's a spiral.
Yeah.
The football is more accurate and it can cut through the wind more accurately because it's a spiral.
Sure.
And because of the centrifugal force, you actually keep the center of gravity in the same spot, so it goes like a very predictable path. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas if I throw a duck like Peyton Manning does sometimes, it's harder for me to tell where the ball is going to go, and the wind can catch it. You do the exact same thing.
So
with
can
a
I
bullet.
show you a piece of my ammunition?
Bring it
I'm
up.
going to show it.
So you can do the exact same thing with a bullet. You can have right-handed or left-handed twist, and when you fire the bullet, the centrifugal force actually makes a more predictable path for the bullet to travel, right? Well, for someone who fires guns all the time, this makes perfect sense. But for other people, they don't understand. And like the longer the barrel, the more spin, the more. This is okay. Now I'm getting really technical. I have gunpowder that's behind that explodes. More of the gunpowder can explode the longer the barrel is. So you get a higher muzzle velocity the longer the barrel.
So these are my defense rounds.
It looks so fancy.
Yeah, that's how you defend people with
That's
those
my
rounds.
technical term.
There we go. Yes, there is.
Typically, this would be rounded. So this is a little more aggressive round.
But what would be used for that as opposed to a rounded?
So this is like when someone breaks in your house.
Got it. You just want a one shot wonder.
I mean, really, the best is a shotgun.
Yep, there's a pistol on the show.
So,
Beautiful. I love it. No, it's totally fine. I don't care at all. It's fine. We can go into the different types of ammo if you want. Like definitely, maybe we talk about this on a different show. But there are different, like the let's call them warheads. The slugs are different depending on what you want to accomplish.
I mean, of course, yeah.
Yeah. For instance, like a hollow tip is not going to penetrate armor like an AK-47 round, which is going to have like more than twice the muzzle velocity, and it's going to be pointed at the end. Whereas like a handgun, it's going to fire these hollow point rounds that are supposed to spread once they hit flesh, but they're not going to go through armor. Does that make sense?
I've literally shot. I've done several tests on like different ballistic panels. I actually work with Innocent Armor, and I've put that fucking thing to the test for 2.5 years. And if anyone's looking for like fashionable
body
clothing,
armor?
like they have clothing.
Are we
like
talking?
vests,
Are we talking about
jackets.
ceramic level? Like
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I have to show you this. It's literally like fashionable clothing that
No, I
no
saw-
one knows that
yeah,
ballistic panels are sewn inside.
Yeah, but these are for 9mm rounds. These are not for.
I shot it with a 44.
Okay. I'm sorry. These are for pistol rounds. These are not for rifle rounds.
If you hit it with a rifle, I want to actually shoot it with a rifle, but I mean that's not. It's level 3A.
Okay,
so.
ready. So now let's slow down just for people to understand. You understand what a pistol and a rifle is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a pistol is going to have a rounded off bullet, and let's just say I'm gonna throw a number out there. Actually, I'm not going to because I don't remember, but it's a much slower muzzle velocity and a
223 round.
Yeah, well, no, we're talking pistols. It's going to be a shorter slug. Does that make sense? So it's going to go slower, and it's made to shoot things that are closer to you. Right? So you're going to have less accuracy. You also have a shorter barrel, so you're going to get less burn, and you're going to get less rifling. You're going to get less velocity. Make sense?
Okay.
But it's a shorter, more compact thing to defend yourself. If I have a rifle, it's a pointed round. Sometimes it's actually a narrower round, but it's going to come out maybe 2 or 3 times faster, and you're going to be able to hit things far, far, far away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And bulletproof armor isn't going to work unless you have these. Again, I'm not as versed in this as you. There's these ceramic tiles that you can wear that will
tiles.
I call them tiles.
They're
not.
plates.
They're plates. There's these ceramic plates that you can wear,
carrier.
and they'll make it through like 1 or 2 rounds, and then you die. Does that make sense? That's it. These things they're not going to, but regular bulletproof vests, they're not going to stop rifle rounds. They're going to stop handgun rounds. Does that make sense?
Because most people aren't carrying around.
Most people are not carrying around rifles, yes, unless we're in.
I like a mass
Unless you're
shooting.
Mujahideen or you live in mass shooting or Jalalabad right now, right? If you're trying to leave Bagram Air Force Base, then yes, you are going to have a rifle. But anyway, that's what we're trying to explain. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube are very confused right now, but that's fine. That's awesome.
Okay.
I love this. I love that we're having a discussion. So we have a social media
Sorry.
manager, and we're talking about the velocity of bullets right now.
I mean, the contrast is phenomenal.
Okay, so now let's talk about this. Let's
Okay.
let's contrast what she just said. Social media has now banned certain things. They've made certain things where I can show a lot of it, and certain things where I can't show other things. I did a reel the other day where I mentioned sociopathy because I'm doing a podcast on sociopathy this week. Actually, tomorrow I'm doing a podcast on borderline personality disorder and sociopathy.
What is define socio? I can't even say the word.
So it's
sociopathy.
Ready? Here we go. DSM-5, diagnostical. God, I never get this right, but there's a manual of mental disorders. DSM-5. DSM-5 under personality disorders, there are type B personality disorders. There are 4. There's histrionic personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. Okay. We used to call them psychopaths, right? But that name became a pejorative, so we don't call them psychopaths anymore. We started calling them sociopaths.
Yeah.
And that became a pejorative, so we don't call them sociopaths anymore. We call them antisocial person. We say that we have antisocial personality disorder. And then we couldn't say that minors had antisocial personality disorder, so we made up a new disorder called conduct disorder. So you cannot.
Is this all true?
Yes, it's all true.
You know
I
this?
actually did not know this.
Yes.
I'm not.
You cannot call a minor. You cannot say that they're a sociopath. You say they have conduct disorder. People with conduct disorder, shocking, they end up with antisocial personality disorder as soon as they turn 18.
Sometimes I feel like I have antisocial.
You definitely do not. So again, you have to confuse because you love your children and you love
You
me.
confuse a
You love me.
But
So-
I feel like sometimes I am antisocial.
No. Okay, so it's a misnomer. It should not be called antisocial personality
That's what we're
disorder.
saying.
It should be
Yeah,
it should be
you're
called antisocietal personality disorder, but we call it antisocial
Okay.
because the problem is if I say that someone if we diagnose them as a sociopath, they're done. They can never get hired. If people know they're a sociopath, their lives are pretty much over. So that's the reason why the psychiatric community keeps changing and they'll change it to something else in a couple years.
So you try to use this hashtag.
Yes, I try to use the hashtag sociopath because I
Yeah.
literally I was doing a podcast about sociopathy, and when I did it, it completely shadow banned my reel. I couldn't use that hashtag at all.
It's interesting because I had, which is funny because everybody was like freaking out. No way she had a meeting. Facebook reached out to certain people of influence that they felt like were influencers on Instagram, and I got a training direct through Facebook set up for Instagram. And we discussed hashtags as well, and the hashtag myths and the shadow ban. It was actually to train us on Reels because they're trying to take down TikTok. It's not working, but we had
Who wants to take down TikTok?
Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, that's what Reels is for. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to work, but they trained individuals, and I was one of them that got trained. And I asked them about the hashtag, and they'll go, "Well, we don't do the shadow ban." And I said, "Then riddle me this: why, when certain hashtags are used, that post will not show up, and then oftentimes the account is completely banned from showing up in the feed." Well, I'm not sure about that, and then they dodged the bullet.
Do you know why that is?
Are you asking me why that? I mean, I know what the structure is behind it. I get that what happens is when content can't be contained, then what they do is they block all of it and then they sift through it.
Yes.
Yeah. And
but
then
you know who does it?
Oh no.
It's an artificial intelligence algorithm, and they
gotcha.
don't want.
Yeah.
They can't be forward about that.
Right.
I'm watching a documentary about this specifically. So you're actually not getting blocked because some feminist and
nobody has
a lot of people do think this. They think that your bikini picture is getting reported because of some feminist who lives in Silicon Valley. That is not what's happening. It's a artificial intelligence thing that is trying to find similarities between things that are getting blocked, and then they're just blocking you. And it sometimes it ends up really bad. YouTube was blocking LGBT people for a while, just randomly blocking people for no reason because the AI was trying to get better and better. But there's no way for human beings to monitor the billions of accounts that are going on. But Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are never going to say that out loud.
Sure.
But they're using AI.
Why
for
would
this.
they not say it out loud?
Because they don't ever admit they're wrong, or they don't ever admit to anything ever. If you
They
notice.
also don't like to admit that they're creating basically files based on each individual, and they don't want to come forward and say that type of thing because it sounds like.
But we already know that it's
We
come
know.
out in like several documentaries.
But we know so many things.
But they don't. But they don't have to
come
admit.
forward.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Right. You guys know you can buy a blue check mark. I don't care. Like I had
Yes.
CJ out here.
100%.
Okay.
Well, so when people are like, "Why is your Instagram not verified?" Because I don't feel like paying the money to have my
Correct.
Instagram verified.
But I don't have to convince you. You
know
can
that.
buy a blue check
Yes,
mark.
you
If
can.
someone was sitting right here from Instagram, and I
gonna
said,
admit it.
"Can you buy a blue check mark?" He said, "No, of course not. You can't buy a blue check mark." He's going to tell you to your fucking face, you
Right.
can't buy a blue check mark, and we know you can.
Right.
So Instagram, here's the thing: they're too big to worry, and not only that, the person you were talking to, they don't know the AI algorithm.
Sure.
They don't. They're so far out of the loop.
They're so far down the.
They're so far down the chain. They have no idea. In fact, you know who else is out of the loop? Zuckerberg. He can't control this either. It's too big. There's too many pieces moving for him to be able to control them. He can give a little bit of input here and there. Here's what I think is happening specifically, and we'll talk about this because this tends to be a common topic on this show is what I believe is persecution of women on social media platforms now, because you didn't have a problem with her posting a bikini from 2012 to 2019. You had no problem whatsoever. Right. Then all of a sudden now you want to block every single one of these girls who has curves, but I get to look at 12-year-old kids dancing on TikTok, but that's okay. Like that, I'm having an issue with this. And when you see this, you kind of come to the realization, okay, they know Instagram's not going to make it that much longer. Why? Because what happened? We had MySpace, and MySpace got trumped by Facebook. We had Facebook, and Facebook got trumped by Snapchat and Instagram. And now Instagram can kind of see the writing on the wall with TikTok. Although I will say I don't think TikTok's ever going to trump Instagram. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't believe in those view counts at all. I know too many Tom, Dick, and Harrys that have videos with 10 million views. I had 6 videos with 600,000 views, and I'm nobody. There's not that many people to be watching these videos, and I definitely think they're fudging the numbers to give you and me a dopamine hit so that we keep going back to TikTok.
That's
100%.
In fact, I'll tell you one further. I think that there are people out there who have videos that are legitimately getting 100,000 views. TikTok's giving them an indication that they're getting 10 million. News media organizations are literally seeing that the video gets 10 million views, even though they don't. Then they spread the video. Now, the fake impressions becomes the virality of the video.
Right.
I really think, like, for instance, if I had a video like Jenna Marbles, it wasn't just that the video that she made was funny. It's that it got 95 million views, right? That was part of the story. So if TikTok can make these videos go viral when they aren't really viral, like, you don't know the people who are watching the video. They let you see who liked it, but they don't let you see who watched it.
They're sort of like making their stars edge in to pull in other people. 100%.
They're taking your daughter.
Right.
They're taking one of your daughters, and now she thinks every day she's getting 300,000 likes. Now she thinks she's a TikToker professionally. And not only that, if she can show other businesses the number of impressions she got, even though this whole thing is fake, they might actually pay her to be a professional TikToker.
She already gets paid on her TikTok.
This is what I'm talking about.
But TikTok hasn't monetized TikTok as a whole, which is very interesting because everybody's wondering why they've held out on monetizing
because it's fake. Because we can't open up the Chinese books. That's the reason why. I don't, dude. I remember my friends. I got some friends of mine. Again, no disrespect, but like some of these guys are boring as shit, and they got videos with like 20, 50, 100, 200,000. I remember the first video I had with 800,000 views, and I'm nobody, dude. I don't even have 10,000 followers, and I started thinking, how have I got 6, 7 videos like this? And then I see some of my other friends, and they just have like random, it'll be 100 views, 200 views, 600 views. Then they'll have a video with 60,000 views. And I'm like, something here is not matching up.
They're also really big they're big in China and things too. So they're pulling a lot of eyes. So there's possibility that they're pulling a lot of eyes, but at the same time, there's a lot of questions going on as to like, if that's the case, again, why haven't they monetized the platform yet? Yes. We're wondering when they will.
Well, I mean, would you say they have monetized? I see commercials on there all the time.
Yeah, but how often?
Every time. If we go on TikTok right now, as soon as the first thing I saw was commercials.
You can't really like sell things on there. There's not really a way to.
You can a little bit. You can do advertisements.
So compared to
I feel like Instagram just makes it easy. It's like a click, and you can, like, I see a ring I like, I can click and shop and get it.
They haven't fully monetized it. Yeah. There are some ads, but not in comparison to how much content is going out. Whereas Instagram has 100 different ways that you can make money or spend money on the platform. Sure. So it's interesting. But we'll see what happens.
All right, back to you. You competitive pistol. We're gonna go over all these talks.
My goodness.
We're going 3.5 hours. So we have competitive pistol shooting. Okay, how do you get into that, and what does that describe for her and I? We don't know anything about being a sponsored pistol shooter. What does that entail?
So first of all, you have to familiarize yourself with the sport and kind of get out there and do it. So you have to start shooting matches, practice.
What does that mean, matches?
Matches is like, so that a match is like one of your competitions.
Okay.
So you shoot up, you show up. And typically there's stages. So you could shoot a local match here. So Pro Gun Club has local matches every weekend.
I've been there, yeah.
Okay, so you show up, and typically there's anywhere from 5 to 6 stages, and your scoring is based on your speed and your accuracy. Mm-hmm. So, and you do all that without trying to get disqualified, and you have an RO following you with a fucking timer that beeps in your ear, and you go and shoot all those targets with him following you, making sure that you follow all the rules.
Right.
Which,
stressful.
would be, so it's a little stressful. So you can't break the 180. So, we shoot down range.
Again,
your pistol at any time can't
anytime
cross
you're disqualified if you ever point it back at somebody else.
Goes up to the ground or past like that 90 degree, DQ.
You just have to keep it
done.
Steady.
Correct. You have to
You
keep
just
it. You have to
keep
keep
it
it down
downrange.
range. Yeah. Yeah. You point. Stick them with the pointy end, like Ned Stark said.
Yeah, and then you're like running,
explanation.
shooting, you hit the target. Sometimes there's swingers, sometimes there's steel, sometimes there's paper, there's no shoot. So
Yeah.
it's like an obstacle course with a freaking
No,
firearm.
no shoot is the woman who comes up with the baby in her hand.
A
You
no
don't shoot
shoot
her.
is
would-
like the
that would
white
be
paper
terrible.
target. You get presented with the stage. You get about like a minute to 5 minutes to actually walk the stage and figure out how you're going to shoot it. So your mental game has to be on point. You have to be accurate and you have to be fast.
That's incredible. Do you have? Is there any ambidextrous pistol shooting?
Oh my gosh. So we have to shoot strong arm, weak arm
Really?
sometimes. Sometimes like you'll come into an area. If you want to shoot it left, you can. It makes it a little more difficult if you're shooting 3-gun.
So that's
I'm
normal.
actually left eye dominant. So, which can be a little tricky sometimes.
Being
So
left,
I'll
yeah.
shoot my rifle. I shoot my rifle with both.
So I qualified in the Air Force with a pistol with both hands because I'm just ambidextrous. I like to be
Okay.
ambidextrous. But yeah, I was wondering if you could do that, if you
Yeah,
could
you
just shoot
can.
either hand. That's pretty cool. And then it
And
also
I'm faster with my right.
it reminds me a lot of shooting free throws. The way your
Okay.
feet, you have to be. It's just the same.
Oh,
repetitive
because my
thing.
feet are like.
Yeah, it's
You're kind of it's to get to the different positions. Like typically, our feet are. What is that called?
No, I'm just like the repetitive nature of doing the same thing over and over again. Free throw is always 15-foot shot from the same spot with the basketball.
Oh no, we're not doing that when we're shooting competitively.
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is you have to get, in order to, you need to have the same technique over and over again in order to get it right. Is that not correct?
That would not be correct in this sport.
Okay.
You have to be able to shoot from like all angles, areas. So it wouldn't be like me. I mean, I guess your basics are your basics.
Yeah.
So I dry fire, and that's not going to change no matter where I'm at. So that would be like me working on my draw. Like how fast can I get my first round on target? And usually I can get on target under a second. Sometimes if it's still, then I'm going to take my time and prep my trigger.
No, back to what we were talking about before.
I have a question for Shar.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
So with my shooting, I feel like I'm constantly like my views will be 100,000 views like on my stories, and then all of a sudden it fucking tanks to
Yeah.
like 5,000. How the hell does that happen?
But-
On which? On story?
My story.
On story.
So there's algorithm changes that happen every time they release something new, and there's no rhyme or reason. That's why I tell people don't get caught up in the numbers because they're gonna go up and down. But it's like the stock market; it always levels out. You keep investing, and then you just ride with the wave. If
That doesn't work for our brands. When our brands want reporting for like our impressions,
I
we
get
have
it
to
doesn't work,
produ-
but
we
there's
have
no
to
answer
produce.
for that. There's no good.
well, I don't have a fucking answer, so I was hoping maybe you had an answer.
No, I don't, because they won't even come forward and say that there's an answer for that. And I study a lot of people who do this, who work, with Instagram. So I keep up to date, and they will tell you like, just don't get obsessed with that because it's still like dealing with stocks. I can't guarantee tomorrow that you're going to be up. It's just that overall you're up when you make a good bet on something. So
I feel like for like my page, usually my likes are pretty like even, give or take like 5,000, but my stories are that's where I notice like the big change.
if you wait,
and then
24
people
hours,
can't freaking find me.
Well, wait 24 hours. You might have like the shadow ban that doesn't
Well,
exist.
I know.
But if you wait 24 hours and let things clear out, then your next story will probably have higher views. And so when people put up 20 stories at a time, oftentimes it slides down. So, like for example, you'll start with like 1,500 views, and then it'll slide down to like 400 or 500 views. Wait 24 hours, let things clear out, and then post a new story.
I
and
have noticed
oftentimes
that.
it'll
You're
go
right.
back up. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first one you post in that 24-hour period is going to be.
It's going to be up. The less
So
stories you post back to back, and then
Fewer.
you wait 24 hours to clear out, you're going to usually get higher views.
I noticed that for sure because I'm thinking I need to post a story like every hour because people want to know what I'm doing. or
Let it
where I'm
clear
at.
out. Let it clear
But if I'm like traveling on a plane for freaking 12 hours and can't like post,
And then notice also
Then
when
I'm like,
traveling,
holy shit.
when I'm in a new city, I'm not sure why, but my views will double. But maybe it also might be because I'm not like posting as often because I'm not.
that's what I kind of think it is. I think that's like a huge key. And I noticed too, other countries can't see my stuff.
Interesting.
So when I was in Philippines, I was shooting a match. My whole account got shut down.
Wow.
So I was like posting, my runs and stuff like that. And then
You guys realize we're literally dating. I'm sorry, we're literally debating astrology at this point. Like we are talking about rules that we'll never know. These people
won't know
will
the
die.
answer. Yeah.
These people will die at Instagram. They will never fucking tell us what the rules
And
were.
that's why
I wonder
it's just
why,
like anything
though.
else.
Why is it such a big fucking
Be-
secret?
because you can't hold me accountable if I never tell you the rules. You can't tell me I cheated on you if I never told you we were in a relationship. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
That's
I mean,
essentially
I
what's
feel like
happening.
that if you've never seen it, you can't actually claim it.
They also keep people. They don't want everybody to win. You gotta, you know what I mean. They want people to keep the people who keep trying and spending the money on the ads and things to continue
I
spending
don't
money.
pay for any ads.
But that's awesome. But there's 100 other people spending on ads, hoping that they have as much
All right,
traction
so
as you.
Do you think I should be paying for ads?
No, I don't. This is the thing. You get the people with the organic traction, like you, organic traffic, and everybody else is hoping that they'll get the traffic that you have, so they spend money on ads. They're not going to attack your account. It's just that they're going to hope that they have that kind of traffic to theirs because they see it can be had.
I want you to consider something, right? So you're Instagram, and you want to build your platform as fast as possible. What are you going to use?
What do you mean?
What type of content do you think is going to build any platform the fastest? What is the type of content?
Like for my
They're gonna say
podcast.
videos.
No, it's going to be attractive women. It is good. It was
Okay, well, that was like a
attract-
trick
No, it's not.
question.
It was attractive women for Twitter. It was attractive women for Snapchat. It was attractive
Yeah.
women for MySpace. It was attractive women for Instagram.
Yeah.
Right, and it's also attractive women to some extent for TikTok. Now, once you get to the point where you've got 2 billion active users and there's only 8 billion people on the planet, at some point, Instagram's going to be like, we don't need any more active users. I think
Yeah.
that's where they are now. So now we want to monetize. Now, where Jamie Villamore helped us grow our account, Jamie Villamore now hurts our sponsors. Do you understand why?
Mm-hmm.
Because Jamie Villamore does not have to spend money to get eyeballs, but Ford does. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so because of that, these women that they literally used as labor in order to grow their platforms.
Mm-hmm.
They are now punishing those same women because those women get eyeball. Like there doesn't need to be a marketing campaign to tell that Talia Paris is attractive. She just is, and so she gets a bunch of eyeballs.
Yeah.
And so because of that, that is frightening to some of these social media platforms. Therefore, I have said this before. You are not offensive because you did anything offensive. You are offensive because you are attractive. That is it. You being attractive takes away from Mercedes and Ford and all these other sponsors.
So you think that there's a bias against
I-
attractive women
obviously
on
the-
social handles?
I
would say
think
I
I will
don't
tell
think.
you this hands down. I think that they're used and abused, and that's why I never do short-term deals. Like you are not going to pay me for a month, 3 months to promote your product and then move on to the next. Why would I ever share my following with you? For
Right.
so you're either going to invest in me and I'm going to invest in you for the long haul and
Sure.
we're going in this together, or no, thank you.
Which is
go use someone
totally
else.
another topic about like deal cutting. Yeah, cutting the right kind of deal for you.
Like I'm
Absolutely.
only at this point in time in my career, I'm only interested in long-term partnerships.
Sure.
So
But back to what you're saying, this is not. It is objectively true. If you are an attractive woman with curves, you are enemy number one on Instagram.
You might be right. You might be right.
you guys, it happened to me with a brand. They signed me. I'm telling you right now.
I'm not arguing.
They
the point.
signed me for 1 year, did a 1 year deal. It was an energy drink. They knew what my page looked like.
Yeah.
Month 4, they're like, we're going to terminate the deal. We feel like your content is way too sexy. It's not like appealing to the audience. So we're going to have to tone it back. Wait a minute. My page is way too sexy. I got a freaking attorney. Scroll down. There's nothing on
Yeah.
here that wasn't on there before you signed a deal. Nothing has changed on my end. It seems like things have changed on your end.
Yes.
So guess what? You're paying out the remainder of my
Yeah.
1 year deal.
People are being a lot more cautious because of everything going on about who they sponsor.
Jamie Villamore and Char Modell are being a lot more cautious. I know a bunch of girls who are not being cautious at all.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that we are.
Yeah.
Brands are.
Yes.
Brands
Oh,
are.
brands
being
are.
more,
Brands are. Yeah, for sure.
look at
you think they're
look at
being
how-
more conservative?
Look at how brands have
Yeah.
changed in the last 2 years. You could have the hot chick who's totally in shape, and now look at what they're promoting now.
That's so true. Like, look at the
It's
Carl's
changed.
Jr. ads.
Yeah.
Those were so hot during Super Bowl. Love you, Chris, by the way, because he freaking directed them all. Kate Upton eating the freaking cheeseburger.
Emily Sears.
Yeah.
Do you think you would
Oh my
see that
gosh.
now? You would not see that now.
Like now I walk into Target and the mannequins are like bigger.
It's
I'm like,
because
what the hell is
50%
going
of our
on?
population is overweight now,
it's
and
more
there's
than
But as a
50%.
more than
mother
50%,
of daughters,
like 75%.
that is not the message that I want to share with my children. I
Yes.
want them to be fit, healthy, and conscious.
I know, but have you not noticed there have been an attack on people who are fit and healthy and conscious
Yes.
as being
Well,
over
yeah.
obsessive?
Yes,
You know,
I'm,
you
I'm
wanna-
actually,
I
I'm actually
wanna-
friends with Nicole
you
Harper,
guys-
so yes, I'm aware. Yes.
I want to pull up my casting. You know what my casting said? They're literally casting for unattractive, like an unattractive model. What the fuck is
You
an
know what's going
unattractive
on now?
model?
It's because people are coming forward and they're trying to, they feel like that their edge is being so inclusive that we're going to pull the people who would never have a light shine on them and put them in the front. And then we're going to, look what we did. We get a gold star for doing that. And then we're going to punish everybody who worked really hard to where they got.
They are a value signal. I mean, I'm sorry, virtue signaling is what you're
It's
saying.
just like,
Yeah.
is that what, ooh, I didn't know
The
that
term
word.
for that is virtue signaling.
Oh,
Correct.
And
So
it's very frustrating. It's
frustrating.
frustrating for the people who really do work hard to get where they are.
I'm just listening to her saying, "What the fuck is an unattractive model?" and just see
Like, because honestly,
how this is going to go off on
No,
YouTube.
you guys, I'm just saying.
we didn't know where this is headed.
I know where
like,
this is
listen,
headed.
I've fucking judged bikini contests,
course.
and we're in the same boat here.
Yeah.
You put up 20 freaking hot chicks.
Mm-hmm.
They all have amazing bodies. They all have pretty faces. How the fuck do you pick? At this point, I'm giving everyone fucking 10s because I'm like, they're all hot. How do you pick?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all like personal preference. So like you may think I'm attractive. The next guy over here is like, she's fucking ugly. She looks like a man because I've been told that before. So it's all like,
I get that too. Sometimes.
subjective, yeah.
yeah. So there's no such thing. So when I got that, I'm like, what is an unattractive model?
Oh, right. So you're saying
this even
you
make
you're
sense?
saying because attractive is subjective, then unattractive is also subjective.
I guess it would be.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
But I mean, I wouldn't look at myself and be like, would you look at yourself and be like, I'm going to submit for this casting because I'm an unattractive model?
That's insane.
Like,
Yeah,
what
that is
the
crazy.
fuck is happening?
There's a lot to be said on that, and I'm afraid to say.
All right.
I'm trying to like tell it like it is, and I just want to be honest
Oh, no, I
because
100%, I understand.
you know, for
yeah.
people that do want to have like a healthy lifestyle, it's like a little discouraging. Like, what's going to happen to us? Are we going to be the minority now because we want to take care of ourselves? And
Right.
No, we're quite already the minority.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like
I'm a 43-year-old guy who can beat up kids in basketball. I'm the minority just because I get out of bed. My friends, I go back home and I see my friends who are 43 and they're all overweight. Not some of them either. Every single one
Well,
of
look
them.
at the ads on TV. Do they ever advertise healthy eating and things like that? Never.
No,
they
no.
literally never promote those
so-
Okay,
things.
but here's the
interesting
thing.
to
All right,
me.
so can we? This is the reason why I love this discussion. Here's the reason why this discussion is problematic, and this discussion has been happened a million times, and it never goes anywhere. And this is the reason why. Because of evolutionary psychology, we were taught through not taught through evolution, but your ancestors hunted out sugar, salt, and fat. They always did, and things that
I
were
love
sweet.
sugar.
Right? But but you don't love sugar because of your personal preference, or because your name is Jamie, or because of who your parents are.
I think you do.
You love sugar because of evolution, because your great grandmother
addicted to it.
needed carbs back when she was
To
living
survive.
in Germany.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, back when she was living in the Caucasus Mountains 50,000 years
You
ago.
needed to store fat.
That's exactly what she needed to eat. And so that's the reason why our preferences come through evolution. So the idea that people are going to start eating healthy when they don't have to. Have you ever, there's a great book by Jared Diamond. It's and I can't remember, he's a professor of anthropology, I believe at UCLA, and he writes these book about these Inuit people that live in different parts of the world. They've had no contact with the Western world whatsoever. And these people that have been living in these indigenous cultures where they have to hunt for their own food, they are finally exposed to McDonald's, and all of them end up with diabetes. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible health effects. Because what's happened is you took a culture of people that literally gorge themselves whenever they get a chance to eat and go weeks without food, like with barely any food, where they're just eating berries. And anytime they can get their hands on protein, they stuff themselves full of it. And then you take them to McDonald's, and they almost kill themselves.
Yeah.
So the idea that the natural state of Homo sapiens is to eat healthy, it certainly is not. The natural state of Homo sapiens is to
Survive.
hoard as many carbs
Yeah.
and as much sugar and protein as possible, as quickly as possible, until the next time you get to kill the gazelle. And that's the reason why we as human beings look for people to be leaders, to be the big strong man to go kill the gazelle. That's why we look to. Every one of our presidents has been, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". All of them have been, big, deep voice and have these masculine qualities, because we have been taught through evolution to look for this. By the way, I'm not saying that's the way the world ought to be. I'm saying that's the way the world
like you're just giving another excuse.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I'm not giving an excuse. Women can do anything. Men, I mean, to a certain extent, women can do it. Women can be fighter pilots, firefighters. Women can be vice president.
This is his
Women can be
disclaimer.
president. They can do any of these things, right? What am I virtue signaling now? No, but they can do anything. What I'm saying is that is the way the world was. If you want to make an argument about the way the world is now, that's totally fine. We have a constitution, and that constitution gives inalienable rights by our creator, whether or not you believe in a creator, for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that all men and women were created equal. That's the human rights that we give ourselves as Americans and people who support the Constitution of the United States. But that doesn't mean that's the way things were when Genghis Khan was going around raping and pillaging a bunch of people. It doesn't mean that's the way things were when Homo sapiens killed and raped all the Neanderthals that lived on this planet. The fact of the matter is the world was different back then, and now we're trying to make things more egalitarian and fair, and that's great. I agree with that. I'm just saying that's not how the world was 50,000 years ago.
Got it.
People find that very offensive when I say this.
I'm not offended. I just think it gives another layer of excuse, but it's okay.
You know what? That's a very good point, and it leads me to something very exciting that's happening. So my favorite author on evolutionary psychology is Dr. David Buss, Hook 'em Horns. He's a former Harvard professor, but he teaches at University of Texas at Austin, and he teaches evolutionary studies. He wrote a book called The Evolution of Desire, and then he wrote a secondary book called Why Women Have Sex by David Buss and Cindy Meston. He also wrote a book called The Murderer Next Door, which is fantastic. 88% of murders, do you know where they come from?
Next door neighbors?
88% of murders are men killing other men over women. So now he wrote this book. He wrote another book that you will like. It's called Men Behaving Badly. And it talks exactly about what you're talking about. Even though evolutionary theory says that men are more aggressive because of testosterone and evolution, it's not an excuse for them to behave this way. It's a terrific book, and I'm very happy that it's David Buss who wrote this book. So
well, I'm not man-hating over here. That wasn't what I was
It's not man-hating, but I agree with you. It's not, what I'm saying is the way things ought to be, but it is not an excuse. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Amen. I agree.
It is
we
not
should
an
edge
excuse.
our way into another topic.
No, I love this. What are you talking about? All right, let's do it.
Oh, man.
Man, so happy to have you guys here. Well, I had all these questions, and we've just skipped over.
But I like that. That's organic.
We're just burning everything up here.
Okay,
ready? You had a previous job where you were giving dating and relationship advice? Go.
I have no business. No, I'm just kidding. You know, it's funny. You know, they always say that you can give the advice that you don't take. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I feel like I take my advice.
Yeah.
What happened was, out of random, a company, I'm not going to list names. I'm not sure if I'm allowed. So a company reached out to me and they said, we have several influencers who are helping us. Basically, we're doing these dating advice. We want beautiful, approachable women and men to give dating advice to people, as though that's a qualification for giving dating advice.
The worst people in the world to get dating advice from.
We struggle the most, I feel like, sometimes.
Hi, I'm an incredibly beautiful woman. Let me give you, gentlemen,
However,
a great dating advice.
No, I mean, I actually gave some good advice, but I had to create so much content in a short amount of time. I created over 350 videos in 30 days. Now, some of them were only 30 seconds and a minute long. I guess that was over 2 months, 60 days. And constantly we did live streaming and all of that. And it paid really well. So it enabled me to work from home while I worked on my business, building social media and branding. And it was fun. It was just different. And the thing is that I was like, I would be candid. I would be like, you know, I'm single as fuck, but here we go. Here's some advice. And I gave really good advice, but people were just there. It was during the pandemic. People were bored and lonely at home. They just wanted somebody to listen to. That ended up turning into topics in general where people would just live stream and have fun and people would hang out. And I did that as well. And then it turned into they opened up the door to adult work, and I skipped town on that. And I completely deleted my account. And then they were like, people were messaging me, where did you go? And I was like, well, I was one of the top and I made a lot of money. And then when they opened it up to the adult work.
What does that mean, adult work? What do you mean?
Pornography type stuff.
Well, it's a dating website. I'm confused.
Because what happened was they started out as a dating website, and then when they couldn't monetize it the way that they wanted to, then they were like, let's do just influencers hanging out. And then they were like, no adult content. And then they opened it up because of like the OnlyFans. They wanted to compete with that. And then they opened it up with, you know, you can do adult stuff, but you just can't put it out on the page. So I pieced out and I had them delete all my videos I'd worked on for like 6 months. And even though it was like I was making money on it, and I just didn't want to be associated to it at the time. Kudos to those that do that, but I work really hard to not be associated to that industry, and I pieced out.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, so what was the? I was mainly looking for dating and relationship advice from.
Oh, you were wanting me to give dating and
no, the two of us were actually. The two of us were looking for.
Well, hey, but she has a podcast coming out, and we're gonna get on there and give the advice too. Don't do it.
There you go.
No dating. Don't date. I feel like so many people have a hard time dating now.
You know,
we had to say
because of social media.
Here's the thing. I think you need to be happy alone before you're happy with somebody else. It's so simple, and a lot of people complicate it. And another thing is like
that's probably my problem.
Yeah.
I'm so comfortable alone in my own space that I'm like, someone's really got to fucking bring it to the table for me.
In sports, there's this thing called wins against replacement. And so basically it's not how much do you need to pay Tom Brady versus zero. It's how much do you need to pay Tom Brady versus an average level quarterback. Well, now it's not how much do you want to be in a relationship. It's how much do you want to be in a relationship versus being single.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So if single brings you, we'll use an economic example. Single brings you 50 utils of enjoyment every day. How many utils of enjoyment does being in a relationship bring you, right? And then how many negative utils do you get whenever she starts, yelling at you because you're talking to your ex-girlfriend?
Do you prefer? Okay, do you like being in a relationship? Do you prefer, in general, a happy one? And I know you don't because you're against.
I absolutely love being in a relationship.
That's crazy to
you
me.
and me had lost touch for a couple of years. I'll go into that a little bit.
Okay, that wows me because he was like the anti-relationship.
I'm not anti-relationship.
He's like, men are not built that way. I know how you are. I know what
anti-monogamy.
you believe. He's like, men are not built that way. That's why. It's like that's just not going to happen.
He feels men aren't built to be monogamous.
And I actually don't think that people are
believe Homo
built that
sapiens are
way.
not
But
built
I
to be
also don't think
monogamous.
people are built to be in shape. 100%.
Correct.
There are things that you choose to do because you want what the reward is from that. So
Agreed.
I agree with you. But yes, do you prefer a relationship or single?
I love being in love, but
Caveat.
I am very comfortable on my own.
And that's
as well.
there's no saying that one to the other. I love being in leggings, but I like being in a dress.
I value my alone time 100%. And when I was in a relationship,
I've known a couple.
yeah, well, Taylor, like when I was with Taylor, he just kind of learned.
God, what
like,
a great relationship. I would never say the name of my ex on here if you paid me $1 million.
Actually, they're
still friends.
Yeah, we're like great friends. So he just learned that like that first hour, me waking up, I'm going to let her be and like have her me time.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then, yeah.
You need somebody that kind of understands you, I think.
But that's like, that's
Did you have a
process.
discussion about that or did he figure that out on his own?
I think he kind of figured it out. And then I
when will you learn?
I mean, I communicated it
okay,
for sure.
Good.
But he kind of, so I'm kind of seeing someone now and it's like, you're in the stage where I have to like communicate all those things and it's like starting over. Like, look.
Can this guy hit a target at 50 yards?
Oh my God. He's a better shooter than me.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like being in a relationship?
Okay, so I was not, let's see, I had a relationship briefly in 2013. It wasn't like exclusive. And then I had one in 2015 that was exclusive, but it ended up pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And then I had one in 2017 to 2019 and went for about 2 years, but we weren't exclusive.
Job.
And it was it was good.
Exclusive.
We weren't exclusive. It was good. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, when I started seeing someone else, it turned into a disaster. It was really weird. Like we had broken up, we were split up for 2 years, and then all of a sudden I started getting these weird messages from her and about me from other people, and about my family. It was I was getting letters. I don't want to go too deep into it,
sure.
But utterly random out of nowhere, I started getting attacked because I now, for the first time in 2021, I have a girlfriend, and I announced it open. It wasn't just that I had a girlfriend. I told people that I had a girlfriend, and so I loved being in a relationship so much. I could definitely do that again. The problem is, Shar, and it's not my opinion. It's just the anthropological fact.
I know, but we're not going back to that. I already know your feelings on
it's not my.
Yeah.
It's not
Do you
my.
disagree with
these
him?
aren't my feelings.
No.
This is every anthropology. Listen, the Homo sapiens live in a life. Ready? The Homo sapiens live in a lifestyle of polygamy interspersed with different periods of monogamy. It's not my opinion. It is the fact. It is a fact.
It's not that. I'm just saying that, like, here, the people who run with science over that. I think you also rob yourself of the romance of a real relationship.
No, I don't. I love the romance of a real relationship.
You've said,
but none of us have been only been with one person.
One?
Yeah. Well, I tried in 2015.
There you go.
It's terrifying.
But you can't. But you can't null the fact that there are monogamous relationships that are good that exist.
And they're very difficult. They're very difficult.
But you're not in it to know. I just think it takes a certain type of person to want that, and it's not for everybody.
I think it takes certain sacrifices from men. I think that's what it is.
I know,
and men,
but
and women
I will go back
don't
to
want to share my man. Yes.
Of course.
So does being in shape, so
Agreed.
does having
Agreed.
children, or so does having a really great career. It all takes sacrifices. Is it natural? Not necessarily, but that's where you decide, is this what I want this person who wants to be monogamous with me? Is this something that I want because it's better reward?
I mean, clearly, let's face it. If relationships were easy, everyone would
Of
have
course.
one,
And
right?
Most of us are single.
Not only would they have one, they'd have one for their whole life.
I don't
that would be
believe
the
that
difference. No.
necessarily.
That's no. If relationships work and there was a formula for them, we'd have one
Let me tell you
relationship
why
for
they
a
wouldn't
whole
work.
life.
Well, I'm going to argue that.
Okay.
Because the person that I am 10 years ago is not the same person that I am today.
Because you're not in a relationship. That's the thing. Like a lot of
because I evolved as a human.
We
Don't you
grow
believe that?
and evolve.
Yeah.
So sometimes, when I met, for example, when I met my daughter's father, like the things that we wanted then, like when I was like 18, 19, are so different than the things
You are
that I want
literally
now.
giving me the excuse for polygamy. This is exactly what I'm saying.
No, but it doesn't. But I'm telling you, I
No.
made a commitment to him, so I had no problem having sex with him
Yeah.
from that day till the day I died.
Yes.
Because I made a commitment,
At the
and that
time.
commitment meant something to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we were able to figure out a way to change and grow together, then that's where it works.
Correct.
And some people can do that, and some people can't.
Ready? So now we have men who want a lack of want polygamy or not monogamy because they want to have sex with multiple people, and women who want a lack of monogamy.
There's
and
people that want to have sex with children.
Yeah, but there's so many shades of gray in that
Hey,
area.
YouTube, sorry about that. But
I'm
here's
saying,
no, I agree with
like
you.
when you're in a relationship, sometimes you want to have sex with other people,
What
but
I'm
you
saying,
don't do it
what I'm
because you're
saying
in a
is
committed relationship.
we have two very clear examples why each gender does not want to be with one person for the rest of their life. Therefore, a lifestyle of polygamy, a lifetime of polygamy, interspersed with periods of monogamy. That is what Homo sapiens have always been and will always be. There is no argument against this. The anthropological record has been written. This is how humans work, period. There is no soulmate. Ready? Everybody look in the
no
camera. There is
soulmate.
no such thing as a soulmate. Ready? You have a soulmate? You have a soulmate? How about those kids in Africa? How about those kids in Africa who end up living in Sierra Leone and get a limb blown off when they're like 5 years old hunting
this
for
took a left
diamonds?
turn.
Do they get a fucking soulmate? Or how about kids who are born with spina bifida who die at 16? How come they don't get a fucking soulmate, but you get a soulmate? There's no such thing as a soulmate. There's no one person.
I didn't
for
argue
you.
that. I didn't argue.
Right.
No, that was not my argument to the audience. My argument was that
That's a great
that if
piece
you're
to think on.
if you're somebody that's evolving constantly and growing and your taste changes, it's not necessarily just because of science. I mean, I get, okay, you can roll back to science, but I'm just trying to tell you from another viewpoint, it is that the type of person who you were compatible with before
Will change.
Right, but that person sometimes want to stay with you because they didn't change and you changed.
Correct, but you've given yourself an excuse to leave. 88. Okay, ready? 78% of divorces are initiated by who? Women.
Really? I thought it was the men.
No. 53%.
Well, maybe it's because the men are cheating.
again, we're giving again. There's we've had this excuse for monogamy and a fairy tale ending, but then there's all these reasons why we get out of the relationships because I changed and he didn't. Let me say something else. And this is
I really am so frustrated with that term when I hear when you ask someone like, "Hey, what happened?" and they're like, "Oh, he changed." No shit, he fucking changed. We all fucking changed. I hope you're not the same person.
It's just not a good way of summing up.
Well, how can you have
sometimes.
monogamy if you have two variables in the relationship that are changing?
Because you
long-term
change and
monogamy
grow
doesn't work.
together, and you should be
don't think it works for
encouraging each other to be like the
always. I don't think
best you could be. Like I want a partner that's gonna push me to grow and evolve and. I mean, I'm very self-motivated, but I want to motivate my partner to be the best that he can be.
Do you understand? And I don't have to tell you this. There's men who are intimidated by what you just said. I'm
Men
not.
are
but
intimidated.
Not.
That's enough.
Come
Look,
on.
girl.
Girl, are you kidding me? You don't think that there are men intimidated by the fact that you'll make more money than them and be 100 times more popular than they are?
Oh, they're
You
definitely
You
intimidated.
seriously don't think there are men that are intimidated by that?
I think there are some men that are
Oh,
intimidated.
I will tell you that most men are intimidated by that, but I'm not because I'm around you guys all the time. But I know
Yeah.
a ton of men that aren't.
I have men tell me all the time on a first date, and they'll be powerful men. I've dated better than I used to back when we hung out. But no, they'll say oh, I can see how you could be intimidating. And I'm not trying to do anything to be intimidated. It's just that men have an idea of what a woman's going to be when they see that she's attractive, and they don't expect there to be all of this going on behind it. I signed up for the girl that was pretty. I didn't sign up for all of that.
I didn't realize you had an S corp and you were the CEO of 2 different companies. And you're like, no, for sure. I love it, dude. I love women that are strong. I love women that read as many books as me. But I'm also not interested in a monogamous relationship. I know a bunch of guys who are, and the guys who I know that get into monogamous relationships and stay in them are in relationships. And I hate to say this because it's going to sound so fucking misogynistic, but they are in relationships where they have a male gendered a traditional male role and the females have a traditional female role, and they make it. And when I meet women who are like really strong, and these are my friends and I want the best for them, they tend to have a hard time because they are so domineering in these relationships, which I completely encourage.
What's interesting?
Because I don't think people, I don't care if, here's the other thing, let me say something else. The birth rate's going down, good. I want the birth rate to go down. I wish there were 4 billion people on this planet. There are too many people on this planet. There are 15 million people that live in Los Angeles County, and if there were 1 million, we'd have plenty of actors and plenty of lawyers. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, there seems to be this push, especially by religious people, that like, well, women are unhappy because they're out there being bossy and they're taking charge and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, good, I'm happy. OnlyFans, I have friends making $300,000 a month on OnlyFans. You know how hard and it's like, and they're doing porn with multiple men. Oh my God, it's going to be hard for them to find a husband. Yeah, I guess they'll in their villa in fucking San Tropez with their Lamborghini. I'm sure they're going to have a hard time finding. I don't give a shit. I am not here. Again, because I believe in evolutionary psychology, humanity is where it's supposed to be, and we're never gonna change it because it took from 300,000 years ago to 11,000 years ago when the agricultural revolution started. That is evolution. That is so much time compared to the last 11,000 years of marriage, agricultural revolution, and language. We cannot fight our evolutionary selves. Now, a lot of people find that to be a very nihilistic argument because it means that there's no such thing as free will, but I don't believe there is, and everything I see points to that being the truth. Because Jamie is pretty, and I think Jamie's pretty. You think Jamie's pretty. I think you're pretty. Jamie thinks you're pretty, but we don't have to. There was no thing that went on with me where someone taught me to think you're pretty. Yeah. Evolution makes me think that you're attractive. Do you understand?
I've heard this.
Okay, all right, right. Yeah. So now here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. The two of you are not. Go to Walmart in Des Moines. The two of you are not prototypical. You guys are very attractive for Vegas, which means if we went to Des Moines, the guys there, you're the two most attractive women they've ever seen in their entire life. Like some women, when they hit 30 now because of plastic surgery in the gym, they're more attractive when they're 31, 32, 33 years old. Amen. Right? And so things have changed. Whereas before, these traditional relationships were what? Women would try to get married off as soon as they could. Family try to get them off. A woman who was single by the time she was 26 in 1908, that means something was wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying that's the way the world should be, but that was the way the world was, and we've changed things so significantly now. And now this is something that makes relationships harder.
I mean, I agree, but I also think that you can't always quantify emotions and feelings and the desires of your heart with science. And I know that is like the woo-woo of life, but meaning because you're going to rule everything as a science, but like not everybody falls. Sometimes science doesn't ring true with 8 billion people.
But the thing is, science specifically rings true with 8 billion people because your experience with love is anecdotal and it's yours. Science will cover the divorce rate. If the divorce rate is 53%, then something wrong is going wrong with divorce, regardless of how you feel about it.
I mean, no, but I understand that. What I'm trying to say is, though, that there are stories that happen every day that doesn't fall in line with the science that you're saying. That's all I was saying.
That means there's 47% of divorces that don't end. That doesn't disagree with what I'm saying. It's just saying statistically, it is very difficult.
I agree, though.
For the two of you.
Oh my God, I agree that relationships are so hard to happen. I mean, I've only been in
and they're getting harder. They're getting harder.
How many have you been in?
Well, I was in 2 long-term ones back to back, almost a 7-year and a 3-year. And then when I moved to Vegas, I've dated people and been in open situations.
Hold on a second. Can we talk about you mentioned something to me about a certain profession of someone you dated. Can we talk about that real quick?
I used to have a thing for like male dancers, strippers.
You did?
Yeah, girl.
What?
Yes! We had this joke. Me, you. We had this joke. I was like, we all have one thing in common. We all like date strippers.
Oh my God, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Police. I went through this spell of like dating men that were models too.
Let me ask you something. So you if you dated a male stripper, did you think? By the way, I have 2 friends. Shout out! Like I have 2 friends who live in the city that are male strippers that have never cheated on their girlfriends, as far as I know. The rest of them have. You know what? The rest of them have.
I had a phenomenal relationship with one for a year, and then outside of that, I actually haven't been in a relationship, as I would call it, since I've been in Vegas, and I've been here 11 and a half years. It's been a struggle, and I'm really normal. I'm actually somebody that's open. I've been in situations where people are like, I struggle with monogamy. I struggle with these things. And I was so understanding. I was even understanding of that time. I'm like, cool, let's just figure it out. Like,
So you were cool
Wait,
with an
so
open
the guy
relationship?
I was
actually
cool
told
with just
you.
figuring out if it would go somewhere else because we were just trying to see if like, hey, do we want to be monogamous together? I didn't want to remain in a situation like that, but it was that like in the beginning for a while, I'm not sure that monogamy is a thing until I know I want to invest in this person for life.
And when do you know that?
Well, it didn't work out. I'm single still, so I guess that was my
So-
answer.
You guys are unusually attractive. Like I know for you, we live here and everyone else is pretty. When you go home, you come to this really. Okay, what I'm saying is, normal guy dates Jamie. Okay, how quick does he start thinking he wants to marry her?
I mean, right away.
That's my point. Like the fact that without even knowing her,
Right.
she's 4 standard deviations away from the norm of how attractive she is, that it gets to the point where like he can't even fucking tell. You have a master's degree, right?
I do have. A
Yeah,
master's
I didn't
degree.
even know that, and I've been
Yeah.
interviewing you for a long time. I didn't even
Yeah.
know. Like, that's the thing. Do you understand how
Yeah.
hard it would be for a dude to get down deep that level?
no, and I
So this is my
understand it's
point.
hard for us to like date in general.
I have
Yeah.
a friend of mine. She is so attractive that literally she can take the most fuckitest fuck boy you've ever seen in your life, the most libertine male stripper, male escort, whoever, and make this guy be monogamous for about a month. And then it turns into hell because this girl's so attractive, she can make men who don't want to be monogamous because she's super attractive.
I
And
don't
that-
date male dancers anymore.
I
and that,
feel
and
like
that becomes that
that
becomes
only lasts
dangerous
for so long.
Of course, it lasts for so long, but none of us are married. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah.
And all of us have been in multiple relationships, and I'm going to go.
I
I'm
don't-
going to go on a limb and say we've all had sex with more than one person in our life.
Yes.
So that's the
Yes,
thing.
we
That's the
have.
thing that happened.
What?
Look at her face. She goes, yes, we
Yes,
have.
we have.
Yes, we have.
She's
We've
like,
had-
yes, we have. That's another topic.
That's another topic. Real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure we got to everything here. We talked about hashtags and shadow bans. Jamie, you have a master's degree. The growth curve is over for Instagram, right?
What do you mean?
Like
over for
just in
Instagram?
general. Oh, so-
Do you
so-
like is it possible for my account to continue to grow?
Of course.
not like it was before.
Well,
There's
of course
never
not,
there's
like
never going to be a 40 million per follower Bulgarian ever again.
What are your thoughts
No,
on
but-
like the giveaways though?
Yeah, this is so
Oh,
that
good
was
or
the
bad?
next the next
Oh.
question I had was
Oh,
giveaways.
we're gonna like real niche into Instagram.
yeah, giveaways.
Okay, you're gonna get like mixed reviews on giveaways. People are gonna go, "Oh,
We
that's
want your opinion.
okay."
though.
My opinion is that if you're just trying to grow a following in general, the giveaways work. Another opinion is it's tacky. You're going to get followers just following you for the giveaway, and they're not useful. It depends. Are you concentrated on growing the number, or are you concentrated on growing the quality of people? It really just
Yeah.
depends.
So here's the thing.
I like that.
We do giveaways.
I like
we do
that.
giveaways all the time.
I used to,
I hate giveaways, but
it draws
every
attention.
once in a while I'll do it because, like you said, your numbers jump way up.
Yeah,
but then you lose a lot, but then hopefully you'll keep some that want to stick around because they actually like your content.
It's the Instagram red carpet. It pulls attention to your page.
So I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
super arrogant. I think my content is fucking awesome. Whenever I've done any of the follow, unfollow, or any of that shit, my engagement always goes up because I post really funny memes and all the photos I post.
I love your freaking stories and
appreciate it.
memes.
I
I
appreciate it.
steal them all the
I
time.
I know,
appreciate
but
that.
you need more you need more video content if you're talking.
I feel like you do because
I do.
you
I'm
do
doing it
have
now.
like
I know.
a lot
Congrats. I
of like
appreciate it.
I love your memes,
proud of you.
but I do feel along the same lines as hers that you're very like smart and people don't know that side of you.
Well, they do
They
now.
just think that you like
They do now.
that you hang out with hot chicks all the time.
Yeah, it is
By the way,
funny.
I'm having a party. Do you want to bring your hot chicks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I am. Having,
Well, it's just that, like, if you have a voice that and you're intelligent and you can be a thought leader, why not dominate a space that's not being dominated in an area?
THO, the thought leader. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. Sorry,
Oh Lord.
my bad. Sorry. My
No,
mind
but I'm
was
just saying,
wandering.
like I have an eye for that, and those are the people that I like to work with because I help them grow. Because all it is learning how to repackage and design what you already do, but put it out there in a way
I
that
mean, you've already helped me in less than a week. Like it's definitely been like.
I would love to overhaul. I'd love to overhaul your page, but I can't help it. That's just my
No,
brain,
it's fine.
the way it works.
It's going to be hard for me to give up some of the things that I've been doing.
You don't have to.
Right.
It's included. You
It's
find a
included,
way
right,
to. Okay, here's a tidbit for anybody watching is that like when I'm on your page, the first 3 rows needs to show the 3 things about you that you want people to know at all times. That at a glance.
You notice I have a microphone in about every third picture. There's a microphone in my hand.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
look
That's
right
that's
now.
why I do that.
Smart.
Right. Oh, she's looking at it on
I'm
hers.
looking.
Coming to a gun near you. It's just
Yeah,
Jamie
make sure
Belmore.
because
No, I'm
that's what
looking at
people.
yours,
Because people don't scroll down.
Michael.
Yeah, don't look at mine. By the way, you know what? You know how they say like the people. It's just like the person doing your nails has crappy nails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't look at my page because
You're the guy teaching you physical fitness.
it's
is-
just I don't even have time to get to my
You're
page. I'm
you're-
so busy building others.
Your personal trainer has needle marks in his butt from the roids he takes. Yeah.
Do you feel like girls...
Shout out to Las Vegas.
Michael, girls probably don't want to date you because there's so many hot chicks.
Do you think he's worried?
Okay.
People want to date him all the time.
Okay, so Jamie, let's talk about this. I can only really date women who like women. And so because of that, they don't care about that at all. Like I have
You can only date bisexuals.
pretty much. And
That sounds terrible.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot of guys there's a lot of guys who have this very deep misconception that all women are bisexual, and that's just not the case.
Right.
There are women out there who literally will go on dates with women to date women, or a lot of times some of the girls that I date, they had a period in their life from anywhere from 2 to 7 years, 2 to 7 years where they only dated women. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I've dated women before where it was like, if I told them, I was like, hey, Shar, I would like it for just to be you and me, and I don't want you to date women anymore, they would break up with me.
Yeah.
Like that level of bisexual. Whenever I date women like that, there's no trouble at all because I can be completely honest about everyone I've ever slept with, and there's no jealousy. Those relationships are the only ones that
but do they want you to include the other women in it?
Yeah.
We're digging into his life.
Yeah, always. And like I'm just being open.
Yeah.
The thing is, because I live here, there's an unusual number of bisexual women that live in Las Vegas because there's so many attractive women.
Because there's
here.
so many attractive
Yes,
people.
correct.
Yeah.
So I have a group of friends, and a lot of them I don't date, but they're bisexual women, and like I just kind of know what they're into. Those girls. So for instance, if I'm dating a girl and I'm like, you remember I used to host that bikini competition at Wet Republic.
I remember.
With not Wet Republic, at Rehab with Crystal Hefner. So if I introduce you to Crystal, if you're my girlfriend and I introduce you to Crystal Hefner and we're going to the Playboy Mansion and I've just introduced you to 54 girls that I put in my bikini competition, do you feel intimidated or are you excited?
No, it's like an
excited.
opportunity.
Okay, but if you're excited, then that could work. But if you're intimidated, which by the way, most women are because you see.
I don't feel like they are.
But you're also prettier than that. Like it's so different. Jamie, you understand your life experience is different than the rest of ours. You understand that?
People say that, but I really feel like
Jamie,
I'm a lot more normal than people think that
ready?
I am.
Yeah, you and me walk. Okay, ready? You and me will walk up to One Oak in Manhattan. Who's getting in first? Get the fuck out of here! Oh, come on,
I'm
come
probably
on.
Gonna get it.
Obviously,
Is the doorman gay?
Well, I don't know. We were at Delilah.
Yeah.
And I had the hottest chick with me. Well, actually, she came after me, and the guy was such a fucking dick and would not let her in. She texts me. I'm like, what the hell do you mean? You're on the list. How is he not letting you in? I freaking walk out there. I was so freaking ticked off. I'm like, she's with me.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word. Walked right in. I'm like, what the fuck?
So, dude,
why is he being like that?
Shout out to Delilah. I went there once.
I love Delilah.
I went there
by the
twice.
way.
They look at me like I'm poor, and I just left. I am going to go there
I had a
eventually.
good experience
It looks like a
there.
great time. They looked at me like, "Come on, man. We've got Drake and Dave Chappelle in there. We're not letting you in here." But no, seriously.
were in there.
Like, I here's the thing. I think you sometimes, and this is not a bad thing, you don't recognize the world you live in is different than the average man. It is. And I'm not saying, by the way, I do believe there's a patriarchy. I do believe that women have had it extremely hard over the last, especially over the last.
But she's just talking about her experiences. It's not saying that that's everybody's experience.
Correct. But what I'm saying is I have one female friend who's completely uncalibrated to this, and all the time she's inviting me on her guy friend's boat. She's inviting me to her guy friend's house, and she's inviting me to her guy friend's table, and I keep telling her, I have a penis. They don't want me. And I show up and things get so fucking awkward, and I keep trying to explain to her, your guy friends want to have sexual intercourse with you, and having me show up is not helping the situation.
But do they allow you to stay and hang out?
Now, for a little bit, just to be nice, but they're sitting there watching this girl like touching me and laughing. This is not, no, he didn't
they were not happy.
He didn't buy a boat to invite girls on the boat to have me come on so that girls will laugh and touch me. And some of these women just don't understand this, right? And so the thing is, like, there's a world for you that is going to open up that isn't, and I'm not complaining, by the way. There's a world for you that's going to open up, and there's a world for you that's going to open up that's not going to open up for me because I'm just a normal dude. It's just like, for instance, I have to post pictures of interesting things. You'll notice very few of my pictures where I'm the focus. Almost all my pictures, it's girls or it's me going out and doing something because I'm not so stupid to think that people want to come on Instagram to look at pictures of my brown ass. They want to come on Instagram to see for
but
me
Michael,
to make them
you're
laugh.
still like attractive. So then how do the other guys that are like hot have like a ton of followers?
So let's talk
ruling
about
out the
this.
possibility that you're attractive.
So let's talk about this. All right. Now, if we're talking about Sam Asghari and Mario Rodriguez, that's different. Those guys are incredibly attractive dudes who have huge followings. But we're talking about male models. But when we're talking about like normal average dudes, there are too many. And I meant to
You're
talk.
not a normal average dude.
No, I'm talking. Listen. This is the thing. I was meant to talk to you about this. Whenever I see a dude with 100K
What about
followers.
me?
Whenever I see a dude with 100K followers and a blue check mark, my immediate reaction is he bought it. My immediate reaction. I do not. Whenever I know a dude who lives here is a convicted felon, bought 600,000 followers and got a blue check mark, and since I saw that, I don't even care. I'm like you. I don't want to pay for this. I have no faith behind the blue check mark anymore.
I don't either.
They degraded the blue check mark when they gave this dude a blue check mark. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. But every time I see a guy who runs an MLM, he runs some sort of he sells annuities, or he's got a crypto hedge fund. By the way, there's no such thing as a crypto hedge fund. Come at me if you believe there is. He runs a crypto hedge fund, or he's a professional poker player or whatever, and this guy's got 250,000 followers and gets 400 likes per post. And he has a blue check mark. Whenever I see that for women, you should have a blue check mark and 1 million followers. Makes sense to me. You should have hundreds of thousands of followers and a blue check mark because you're really good at what you do. Makes sense to me. I should not have 100,000 followers.
But you're a really good speaker.
I am a good speaker. Maybe I'll get 100,000 followers for being a good speaker, but not for people looking at my brown ass. That is not why people are going to give me 100,000 followers. I just personally don't think that's the case. And every time
what women find attractive is very differently than what men find attractive.
Yes, but you don't find it as attractive as aggressively as we do. Like you don't. Okay, I'll give you an example. Jessica Biel at 21 years old, if I had 100 men in a room, I was like, how many of you guys find her attractive? 100 hands go up, right? How many of you guys, if you could get away with it, would have sex with her? 100 hands go up. Brad Pitt, when he's like 45 years old, I'm in a room with 100 women. How many of you guys find him attractive? About 45 to maybe 60 hands go up. How many of you guys would have sex with him immediately? Maybe 35 hands go up. Women find physical attractiveness far less important than men do. And that's the reason.
Which brings me to my point. You just contradicted yourself. What I'm trying to say is what you think is attractive and why it should be like blue check marked is very different than a woman who's going, oh, it's attractive to me that he has something going. Oh, he's a good speaker. Oh, he's this.
Oh, I can learn from him. He has so much to offer.
Again, and if we're
trying
talking,
to compliment you here.
If we're talking about Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone or somebody like that who literally has like a huge following, a podcast,
I mean,
and millions of followers.
They got it. They had to get there somehow.
Right, they had to get there. I'm not saying it can never happen. I'm saying the normal dude who doesn't have any kind of program and has got a rented Lambo and a fake watch.
We don't like, that's horrible.
Listen, I live in Vegas, man. You know, I go out to a club and it's always some dude who's clearly a trust fund kid who tells me he's a professional poker player. He manages a crypto hedge fund. He's got a fake watch and a rented Lamborghini, and he bought all of his followers. And the guy's trying to, here's ready for it? He's got entrepreneur written in his bio. Fuck, dude. And I meet these guys all the time, and they try to explain upper level finance to me, and they don't know that I work for a proprietary hedge fund. They have no idea because they see me with a bunch of girls. They don't know that I do this for a living. And they say things to me, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe that you're trying to tell me this shit. By the way, there's no such thing as a crypto hedge fund because you can't hedge crypto. You can't short crypto. You can't buy calls or puts against crypto. So there is no hedge. So there's no such thing as a hedge.
Message of the day.
There is no such thing as a crypto hedge fund. If someone tells you there's a crypto hedge fund, they're lying. They can come at me, and I will quickly displace that very quickly. Anyway.
Have you invested in crypto, by the way?
I did, actually.
Yeah, great. Look, I'm very bullish on crypto. There's just no such thing as a crypto
I don't know. I mean, I literally just keep throwing money into it. I don't really know what to do about it, but that's where we're at.
You just said what I just said. You keep throwing money into it. You don't know what to do about it because you can't pair it up with anything else. There's no futures product. There's no.
But for me, it was just a matter of the count was growing. So I put it in there because we all know that it might go way back up. And to me, it's better than a savings account, which is losing money because money is losing value. So I just put it there.
Okay. You can also invest in the S&P 500.
I know I have other things I'm investing in too. I just it's like 33.
Sure.
But that I did buy some crypto, yeah.
Man, we went all over the place. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, now again, for those of you who are watching, remember the Playmate and the Fighter Pilot. Well, we did this right here. We have a social media manager and we have a professional shooter. Both of them models. They're friends. We found a lot of common interest, a lot of common ground, especially when it comes to social media. We're going to find that social media is kind of the common ground for everyone.
For sure.
Because social media
100%.
isn't. So we have a saying at my master's program, Men of Action. Rule number 4: social media is fake, and I'm okay with that. Social media is fake, and I'm okay with that. Everyone's using FaceApp, and I'm okay with that. Everyone is buying followers, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
People buy blue check mark, and I'm okay with that. People are making their lives to seem like they're a lot happier than they actually are, and I'm okay with that. Social media is fake, and I'm okay with that. You know why? Because the money's real. That's why you don't care that social media is fake. That's why, again, I have friends that are really critical of girls who use FaceApp. I'm sorry. Remember when Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France 7 times and he was taking steroids and everyone else was taking steroids? You wouldn't even know who Lance Armstrong was if he wasn't taking steroids. Social media is fake, and I'm okay with that. Everyone's cheating, and I'm okay with that. If you can absorb that and not try to change the world, then we're good. Anything else, you guys? Jamie, what do you have going? God, man, I wish we'd do another 90 minutes. I swear to God, you guys are incredible. What else do you have going on? coming up?
So I am currently working with Microtech, which I'm really excited about, and I'll be out there getting on the bench and creating my own blades. An episode coming out with Guns Out TV and Warrior Poet Society, so I'm really excited about that. And then hopefully linking up with Beretta with their new women's tactical
Beretta,
line.
an Italian company or an American company?
They are based out of Italy, but they also have a shooting team here in the United States as well.
The U.S. military used to take the M9 Beretta variant, and now they got a SIG P330. That's what they're using now. The M17, is that correct?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll have to look that up again because we used to always shoot these M9s, and now they switched over to something else. What do you have coming up?
I'm helping my client with an event in Austin. It's huge with a lot of thought leaders and business leaders called Contrarian Uncon. And so I'm helping her with that. I'm kind of actually phasing for people who are watching. I'm phasing out a little bit on the managing. I'm not sure if I'm keeping the clients where I'm at, but I'm tapped out unless you pay me to overhaul your account or you pay me just basically to...
You were talking about a problem with scalability with your business.
They call it like the Tony Robbins effect. They used him because you basically build a business around you, people wanting to work with you, people know and trust you, and there's like an intuition mixed with like creative expertise that you have just built from like, me working with hundreds of brands throughout the years. I did trade shows and events, and I had to learn about brands, and I can't really quantify that.
It's hard.
You can't.
I have a similar problem. Yeah.
I can't. So what it is I kind of like built this business successfully around me, and I'm like, cool, I want to scale it because I don't want to work 14-hour days for the rest of my life on my phone. And so I'm working with a girl very closely, Cody Sanchez, and she's growing phenomenally, and I keep moving up with her. And more time keeps going to things with projects with her.
You need an info product. If you want to see mine, I'll show it to you.
What is that?
I made an info product.
I mean, I'm going to be selling things like obviously I want to do a course and I want to do more group trainings and speaking.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm just kind of focusing on what I have going because I built this thing really fast. People try to be managers. I didn't want to do the managing. People kept asking me, and then I just charged them out the ass this year compared to other managers because they bring me on to do business advising and branding.
Yeah, so other things other than the technical part of social media.
And that's the only way you'll make the money at it,
Correct.
honestly.
And
or be good at
sales.
it is if you can consult in other areas. So I'm moving more into just consulting events. I still do influencer events. Got to work with Carmen Electra. That was fun.
Yes, that was fun. We met Carmen the other day.
Yeah, that was cool. She was really great.
My butt.
She did.
All right, for those of you who are watching this, first of all, let me say something. This is going to be week 5 that we've done this, and I'm very happy because we finally started getting haters on the comments. And
you're famous now.
Yes, I just want to welcome. I want to welcome you haters. Thank you if you made it to the end of the video. I want to say thank you very much, all the haters for coming on there. A lot of people.
My goodness.
No, what's happened is a lot of times I have some really pretty girls on here, and two things either happen: either really judgmental guys who call these women pejorative names, or there are people who hate the fact that I'm sitting next to Talia, or I'm sitting next to CJ, or I'm sitting next to Jamie, and they're like, "Don't touch my princess that I watch on Only."
That's just
you have an
funny.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Don't touch my OnlyFans princess. And so they're writing these really hateful messages, and it's like, yes, I finally made it. I thought it would take longer than 4 weeks, but that's how long it took. So welcome to the haters to the Michael Sartain podcast. If you guys make sure you like and subscribe, make sure you check me out on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Please leave comments. I'm gonna respond to a bunch of these comments because I've got my social media manager Shar here to tells me that I need to do that or she'll flog me.
Right.
So really excited. We got several more people coming up. Coffee and Cleavage is coming up. I do have an experimental physicist from UC Davis who's going to be coming on here, and I've got an ER doctor from St. Rose Dominica who's going to be coming on here, and we're going to be talking about COVID and making a lot of people very angry. So I'm super excited about this. I'm super excited about all these podcasts that we have coming up. So thank you guys for joining us. Please leave a review, and we will see you next week.